Uncle C, back in the office, and in today's video I'm going to be describing in depth why women probably view you as a beta male. Now, who is this video for? Okay, if you're the type of guy where you've ever been dumped, you've been jaded, you've been heartbroken, you've been cheated on, or maybe you just don't necessarily understand why the women who you want or you have heightened attraction to consistently pull away, this is probably going to be one of my most in-depth videos. Now, I think that this video will probably go a good 12 to 15, maybe even 20 minutes. So stick with me on this, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be breaking this down so that way this video can be a one and done. Like, you're going to hear this, you're going to understand the concept, you're going to understand why this has been happening, and by the end of it, you're going to have rock solid clarity as to knowing what to do. Now, before we begin, real quick, I've been saying this for the entire month. We literally have under 100 seats available for the Masculinity Blueprint before we hit the 2,000 enrollment cap and we shut this puppy down. This has been my most flagship program for a few years, and when we hit that enrollment cap of 2K, we're closing it down. So I have tons of testimonials and quick links below. Hop into that, but nevertheless, let's dive in. Okay, first off, here's why the women you want typically view you as a beta male. The very first issue is going to be age selection. Okay? When you're dating women your own age or the same age, here's what you're going to notice. You're going to notice this like abrasive attitude, or this resistance to get yes commitment when it comes to dates or when it comes to interactions. Here's what I can tell you. With age comes respect. You're going to just naturally notice this. If you are 3 to 10 years older, right, the woman that you come in contact with is naturally going to have more of a default respect for you. She's going to look at you as a more solidified option. So this is one of the things that you have to understand is, like, if you want to truly separate yourself from majority of guys, you're going to have to look at the category of women that you're actually speaking to. Here's why, okay? Younger women naturally prefer older men. Now, the reason being is because they're going to look at these types of guys as stable. Okay, they're going to maybe look at these types of guys as the type that have resources, even are more sure of themselves when they speak. So their game, right, the verbals coming out of their mouth, the seduction, it's going to be more crystallized. It's going to be more condensed. It's going to be more direct. It's going to be more powerful. This is going to make her feel feminine. So these things are super, super important, okay? Naturally, you will notice heightened sensitivity when you talk to younger women. So if you are, for example, 25 plus, okay, date down. Like, let's use the example. If you're 25, 26 years old, you're going to be wanting to talk to women who are probably, 19 to 23. And in that age bracket, in that age category, they're going to prefer older men, okay? Even if you ask them this, you can ask them this online, you can ask them this straight up, you're going to get the answer 9 times out of 10 of yes. And if you say, why is that? They're all going to say the exact same thing. Well, guys my age usually aren't that mature. The key to understanding this mindset change is to understand that women have different attraction triggers than men, right? I know that oftentimes when people go into relationships or they go into dating, they assume that the other person perceives attraction the same way as they do, and this couldn't be further from the truth. Age selection will handle 50% of the issues that you've probably been dealing with, so you're looked at as more of a viable option when it comes to the dating game. Now let's look at the other 4 categories. What we're going to be covering today is frame, tone, the look, and then confidence and or arrogance in certain areas as to why women are hardwired to go towards that. The very first thing we have to take a look at is frame. Okay, what is frame? Well, frame can mean a lot of different things. Frame can be verbally, okay? Who's fitting whose frame? For example, if I tell you right now, go down below and click the link in the bio, that's an example. If you go do it and you click that link, you are fitting my frame. Okay, now this doesn't have to be weird, right? But there's a natural frame control in every interaction, no matter who you're talking to. Okay, it doesn't matter. But frame in general, who you are, right? The type of presence you can command, this dictates the response you're going to be getting from women. So how do you categorize yourself as a guy with a strong frame? First off, the first way is going to be looking strong, looking fit, okay, having your body and your strength under control. This is why the very first thing I've been preaching on this channel for years is you have to get fit. You have to build the body. If we know that majority of women only find the top 1 to 10% of men attractive, you're going to have to do what 99% of men are willing or not willing to do, and that would be taking care of your fitness, okay? Now, when you do this, here's what I've noticed. Your brain starts to solidify because of the time and the dedication you've put into the gym. You are physically stronger, you're mentally stronger, you know what it's like to sacrifice yourself to something. Your willingness to tolerate garbage typically goes down. So you're going to get stronger in your tonality. You're going to naturally become more of an alpha dude. And here's what happens. Your tone and your frame, who you are, it will be more decisive, right? The woman who comes into that frame, she's going to be seeing that you can lead by example, okay? And oftentimes, if you say you're going to do something, you do it. So, gym, right? Going to the gym and taking care of your fitness, it gives you a look, okay? If we know that, men are hardwired for that hourglass figure of what they look for, you better be crafting your own V-taper. You better be getting into low digits of body fat. You better be building the shoulders, the upper chest, making sure you're strong. Okay, and that's going to give you that warrior look. That's incredibly powerful when it comes to what meets the eye in the first initial approach. Moving on to number 2, and notice if you don't have that, it's going to be harder to come across as the type of guy who has alpha characteristics. Alpha has a look. Alpha has a look and it has a tone. If you've been perceived as a beta in the past, this is one of the fastest ways to fix it. Now moving on to number 2, okay, what is your tone? Your tone of voice. What I've noticed with men who are more inexperienced with women is they naturally feel as if the feminine way of speaking, or like the higher pitched tonalities of voice, is correct by default. So they'll overemphasize the words and say hi, okay, and it's fake. And the woman can see that it's fake. But that tonality, okay, is what they naturally think they have to do to align more with how that other person sounds. This is going to totally be an attraction killer. What you want to sound like is you want to sound strong and masculine. And the only way to truly pass tests, okay, when you're being tested, is to have that tonality shift. What you're going to be doing when you pass these tests is you're, on a subconscious level, explaining what will or what won't be tolerated. Now, how do you demonstrate that something that woman's doing will not be tolerated? You do it by removing yourself from the interaction, and that woman no longer gets your validation or your attention. What your tone has to show is no matter what, you're never phased. You're never moved off center emotionally, and you have nobody to please, okay? You're never in a pleasing tone. You're never in a pleasing frame. You're never scared to offend. You're consistently willing to say the things that you want, and you act like you are the prize, okay? If you look at any highly successful person, right, look at the way, let's say, Michael Jordan speaks, okay, or Conor McGregor, right, or Floyd Mayweather, or Dan Bilzerian. Whether you like them or hate them, okay, they all have the same nuances in their tone. And it's because they genuinely believe that they've made themselves a person of value. This is just 2 out of the 4, okay? The next that we have to dive into is the look. So everybody should be crafting your own archetype. What is an archetype? That means it doesn't matter if you look like Thor or if you look like Tony Stark. 2 polar opposite archetypes, they're both something. It doesn't matter if you're the rock star or if you're the cowboy. Okay, they're both a masculine archetype. It doesn't matter if you're in the heavy metal band or if you're the gym bro in the stringer. They're both a masculine archetype. You have to craft your own archetype of the look that fits you the best. And what this does is this shows in your body, your clothing, your aesthetic, your style. All of this is important because women sense congruence. Okay, what is congruence? Congruence is the alignment that a guy has between what you say and what your actions actually are and how you present yourself. If there's a misalignment in congruence, that is going to turn her off because there is not an alignment in who you are versus what you say you are. This congruence is extremely important. The more congruent you are with yourself, what that actually shows is you're confident and comfortable in your own skin. Extremely important to master your own look, and also on top of that, not deciding on a look or not going with a look that you're not 100% sold on or you 100% don't see yourself wearing or being. It's completely important to be your most authentic self in the comfortable type of look you want to actually come across as. So last but not least is the confidence or arrogance that comes from success. So how do you become successful in your tone when you're speaking to a woman? Well, it comes from having prior success with women. And if you have not yet had prior success with women, you need to master everything on this side of the board that we explained so you're not positioned in the beta male category. Okay? When you have prior success, this shows in who you are, and this is with anything. Okay? If I've been on 100 sales calls and I've closed 50% of them, I know that I have a high closing rate. My 101st call, I'm going to be extremely confident because I've been there, done that. If you've had attractive women that you've been with in the past and you will consistently be able to, attract or retain them, what's going to happen is that will show in your tone, that will show in your arrogance, your conviction, your confidence in yourself. Last but not least is life, okay? Being sure of yourself in all ways, shapes, and forms to the best you can is so important. If you've been through really hard stuff, like maybe you're the type of guy where you had like a rags to riches story, or let's say you climbed out of a lot of credit card debt, or you were on the streets once, right? And you showed that you were able to get out of that and you were able to get your own home. Whatever it is, like if you've shown that you're a good bet for survival, once again, it shows that you're a man who is fit for strength and for capability. So these are the things that comes with development and actually understanding the dating game and the marketplace. Now, I know that some people would rather like more easy to grasp tangible answers, like what are the 2 things I can do? But here's the thing, you guys, all of these things on this board, it's not like doing one of them or not doing one of them is going to put you in the beta versus alpha category. It's like all of these are 1% wins or 1% losses. The more of these boxes that you check, the more 1% wins are going to add up. The more boxes you don't have, the more 1% losses are going to add up. And I don't know exactly for each woman when the tipping scale is when she moves into the friend zone category or the beta male category, but it comes when there's probably more things that are a net negative or a 1% loss on your end when it comes to your masculinity than it would be a 1% win. So guys, if you like this video, hit the like button, comment what you want to see next. Check out the links that we have below for the MBT Masculinity Blueprint, as well as my one-to-one book a call coaching link with my brother Cole. You can fill out an application. You can schedule a call with him if you'd like to work one-to-one with me. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.